Good morning. I think I found a quiet place to make this video, at least for the moment. Cars are not too loud. I'm in a park next to a marina, and just wanted to share some things. I have struggled with making this video. It's probably been actually 15 years in the making. It's going to be about missiles. It's going to be about yellow pilots and church bulletins. At the end, the church bulletin is what's going to tie it all together, and what really made it for me that it was something from the Lord. So about 15 years ago, I began to see visions of missiles, and they were just brief visions. One time I was in a movie with my youngest son, and we were watching the movie. It was a movie geared more for kids, and suddenly I saw missiles on the screen, and it was so vivid that it caught me off guard. And I thought, because they didn't seem really a part, they should have been a part of the movie at that moment. So later on, I bought a CD of that movie to see if those missiles were actually on the screen, and they weren't. It was just, actually, it was a vision. The missiles were flying low, and they had vapor trails coming out behind them, a group of missiles. And so that was probably as far back as I can remember the missiles. But over the years, like I said, this was 15 years ago, over the years I began to see more visions of missiles. And just in strange places, unexpected, I would see what looked like a missile. And it was always at a time when I could have a few seconds to stop and think about what I had just seen. But anyway, about December of 2017, I went through at least a month of dreaming about missiles of every sort. And I really don't care about missiles. I don't know. I've never had any fascination with missiles. And I was seeing every kind of missile. It was almost like watching a documentary, like somebody wanted to teach me about missiles. I saw intercontinental ballistic missiles. I saw surface-to-air missiles, Tomahawk missiles, Patriot missiles, you name it. They were in these dreams. And it was like every night. I couldn't get away from these missiles. And finally, one night, I laid down to go to sleep, and as soon as I closed my eyes, I started to see the missiles. And I really wanted just to sleep peacefully. And so I actually told the Lord, can I just go to sleep and not see the missiles? And so I didn't that night. I just went off to sleep, and I didn't see any missiles. Well, before I go to the church bulletin, which really brought it all together for me, one of the dreams was about, it was very, very, very different dream. Very different, but one of those very real, very vivid kind of dreams where it doesn't seem like a dream. It seems like you're actually there. But in the dream, I was looking out at a vast area of destruction. It was completely void of life. It was like a dusty, barren desert scene. And in the distance, I could see somebody coming, walking. And as he got closer, I saw that somebody was walking behind him at a good distance. They got closer. And as the man, it was a man, and as he got closer, I realized that he was military. He was dressed as a pilot. And I used to be around a naval air station where I saw a lot of pilots, and I know how their flight suits looked, and the air crews and whatever. But as he got closer, I noticed that he was carrying a sword, and which I thought was strange. Why is a pilot walking in a desert area carrying a sword? And here's the thing that really was super strange about it. All the flight crews and pilots that I've seen are wearing like overalls and like a flight suit, and it's green or maybe blue. But these guys were wearing yellow uniforms, a very vivid yellow uniform. And as he got closer, he saw me and he looked up. I'll pause for the motorcycles. He paused and he looked up and he raised the sword up over his head, almost like a sign of defiance. And he said to me, "We tried, but you can't shoot down a missile from a fighter jet." And I could see the sadness on his face and the shame. They had evidently been in some kind of a battle trying to protect our nation with these fighter jets, and they had all lost their jets. I got this idea that their jets had been shot down or lost for some reason, even though they tried valiantly to shoot down the missiles that were coming. And he continued on, and then another pilot came, and I didn't hear anything after that, but the dream was over. But the dreams were like that. They were just very different, very strange dreams about missiles. Sometimes I was on the deck of a ship that was firing missiles, and I realized it was always us. Sometimes they seemed to be incoming missiles. I had a dream, one of the dreams, I was in like a drone going over a city, and it was completely covered with smoke. And I would be looking down from the drone, and the smoke would clear enough to where I could see thousands of people on the ground scurrying in every direction, just trying to get to some kind of safety. And that was the dream. I knew that there had been some kind of an attack, probably a missile attack, and people were trying to just get to safety. And like I said, after I asked the Lord to just let me sleep and not see the missiles, I didn't see any more missiles, didn't have any more missile dreams for about a month. And then I went to church one day, and I got a church bulletin, which quite common, and it says on it, I'll hold it up here, Missions Yard Sale. Missions Yard Sale, which is announcement of something that we did every year to raise money for foreign missions in my church. So I got that bulletin and I stuck it in my back pocket after church, and I went to the car and I forgot it was there, and I sat on it driving around in my car that afternoon, and about 6 p.m. I guess, I pulled it out of my pocket. I realized it was in my pocket, and I threw it in the seat, and I didn't look at it. And then about 8 or 9, I went back out to my van, and I picked up the bulletin, and I realized that it had gotten kind of crumpled and misshapen and folded itself. And I looked at it and I just couldn't hardly believe it, because it had folded itself to where it says missiles. Missile with an exclamation point. Missile. And I realized that the Lord was just trying to tell me, don't forget about the missiles. That I wasn't crazy for dreaming all these missile dreams and everything, that he was trying to get a message to me, that he wanted me to share one day. And I realized I tried to share it several times, and I was in 2 different groups at church, and when I shared the one, people don't like to hear about it. Christians don't like, there's just typical among Christians, they've got their hands over their ears, their eyes, their mouth. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. And they don't want to hear it. And the first time, one of the men pulled the bulletin out of I had the bulletin, he pulled it out of my hand, and he opened it up flat, and he said, next time that happens, just read it the way it's supposed to be read. And I'm telling you, it's not a whole lot of fun to get rebuked like that. And another time, and this is hard to even repeat, but it was suggested that the reason I was dreaming about missiles every night was that I had a missile in my underwear. Believe it or not, came from a Christian. And everybody laughed. And so I quit trying to share it. I quit trying to share anything about the missiles. That's been about almost 3 years ago. So I'm sharing this dream now for a reason, because the Lord just will not let me go without sharing it. So the things that are coming on this planet are dire. Get ready. Make sure you have Jesus in your heart. No matter what you do to get ready, that's the first thing. Invite Jesus to come into your heart right now, today. Today. Don't wait any longer. We are in the lull before the storm. I just know it. And we've got things coming up in October, November. Today is September the 5th of 2020. And I'm going to put a link in the description below of a vision I had 20 years ago where I saw a lot of this stuff happen. You can read the vision. I'll put a link, and it's not a video. It's just it takes you to a website where the vision was posted. And I was kind of shocked this year to see exactly the things that I saw in that vision. But I'm not going to drag this out. It's 12 minutes already. I love you, and I thank you for subscribing, all of you who have subscribed. Thank you for all the likes and even the dislikes in the comments. I love to read the comments. And remember the people around you, your kids, your loved ones, your neighbors, your friends. Tell them what's happening, that we are in those last days. For us as Christians, it's a time of great joy, really, because we're going to see things happen that people have read about in God's Word for 4,000 years plus, whatever. So I'm just going to say goodbye. I love you. Bye-bye.